Hey there, and welcome. If you've spent any time with SQL, you already know that left join is an absolute workhorse. But what happens when you need to keep every single record from your second table? You know, the one on the right? Well, let's dive in and unlock the power of its often overlooked sibling, the right join. This right here, this is the exact question that brings us to the right join. Imagine you've got two tables, and your main focus isn't on the first one you list in your query, but the second one. You need every single row from that right-hand table, no exceptions. A standard left join just isn't going to cut it. So what will? And here it is, the core difference in a nutshell. Just think of it as choosing a direction. A left join says, hey, I'm starting with this table on the left, give me everything from it, and only the stuff that matches from the right. A right join, it just flips that script. It says, give me everything from the table on the right, and only the matching puzzle pieces from the left. Okay, so let's pop the hood and see exactly how this thing works. We're going to look at the official definition, the syntax, and then walk through a super clear example to make it all click. So here's the textbook definition. The most important thing to get from this is that the right join guarantees you won't lose any rows from your right table. If a row over on the right doesn't have a matching buddy in the left table, SQL doesn't just toss it out. Nope, it keeps the row and just puts a null, like a little placeholder, in the columns that would have come from the left table. Now, the syntax is going to look really familiar, which is great news. You select your columns, you start from what we'll call table A, but then you right join to table B. The key, the absolute key, is to remember that table B, the one that comes right after the right join keyword, is the special one. That's the table whose records are all being kept, guaranteed. All right, series great, let's make this real. On the left, we've got our customers table with Rahul and Priya. Simple enough. On the right, we've got an orders table, but look closely. See that? Orders 101 and 102 have customer IDs that match up. But order 103, it's linked to customer ID 3, and, well, we don't have a customer ID 3. This is our perfect test case. So, let's write our query. We want the customer's name and their order ID. We'll start from the customers table, and then, this is the important part, we right join to the orders table, telling SQL to connect them on their customer ID column. And remember, by using right join, we're basically yelling at SQL, keep every single record from that orders table, you hear me. And boom, here's our result. Check out what happened with order 103. Just like we asked, SQL kept it, but since it couldn't find a matching customer on the left, it just filled the name column with null. This is the right join doing its job perfectly, making sure our entire orders table is represented in the output. Okay. Now that you've seen the mechanics, I want to share a really simple but super powerful way to think about this. It makes right joins so much easier to understand. I call it the mirror trick. This is the big secret. That's it. That is literally all it is. If you know how to write a left join, you already know how to write a right join. You just have to think about the order of your tables. They are perfect mirror images of one another. And look at this. This query here produces the exact same result as our last one. What did we do? We just swapped the tables. We put orders in the from part and customers in the left join part. So if a right join ever feels a little weird, just ask yourself, how would I write this as a left join? And then just flip your tables around. It's that easy. This whole idea has a name. It's called join symmetry. It just means that left and right joins do the same job. They just come at it from opposite sides. So you might be asking, why even have both? Honestly, it often just boils down to readability. Sometimes, the story you're trying to tell with your data just makes more sense in your head when you write it as a right join. Let's just hammer this home one last time with a nice, simple visual. Left join keeps everything from the table on the left of the keyword. Right join keeps everything from the table on the right. Simple as that. It's all about that directionality. So, besides just being a mirror image of a left join, what's the killer app for this? Well, it's amazing for data validation, for finding what we call orphan data. Let's see how that works in the real world. You know, in any real database, keeping your data clean is so important. You might need to find orders that got punched in without a real customer attached, or maybe find payments that don't link back to an actual order. These are major data quality problems, and right join is the perfect detective to hunt them down. Okay, now for the magic. We take our original query and we add one powerful little line at the end, where customers.customerID is null. Remember how our join created those nulls for the non-matches? Well, this line tells SQL to do the join first and then filter the results to show us only the rows where a match failed. And voila, the result is just 103. The query perfectly isolated the one order from our right-hand table that had no home in our left-hand table. This is an incredibly powerful technique for debugging and cleaning your data. Let's think about a personal project for a second, maybe a library tracker app. You've got a books table and a borrowed books table. If you right join borrowed books to books, you can see every single time a book was borrowed. And if a book's main entry somehow got deleted from your books table, the right join would still show you that borrow record, but with a null next to it. It's like a bright flashing light telling you there's a data error you need to fix. Now, let's scale this up to a real business problem. Imagine you're a data analyst. You need to find any payments that were processed but don't have a matching order in the system. That's a huge red flag. A right join from orders to payments, combined with that where this is null clause, does exactly that. It's how you make sure every single dollar is accounted for.
All right, that was a lot, I know. So let's quickly run through the most important points to lock in everything we've learned about the mighty right join.
So to recap, the number one thing to remember is that a right join always prioritizes the right-hand table. It's essentially the reverse or the mirror image of a left join. It uses those null results as signals to show you where matches are missing from the left table. And this whole relationship is what we call join symmetry. And at the end of the day, this is why it's so important. While you might find yourself using left join more often, the right join is a critical tool for your data quality and validation toolbox. It's how you make sure your most important data set is fully covered. It is absolutely essential for reconciling data and finding those critical mismatches. So the next time your data logic favors that second table, now you have the perfect join for the job.